welcome our postgraduate alumnus, Dr. Samuel Okbebu, who is a lecturer and program coordinator for the Department of Management and the leader R&D Training and Development for the Faculty of Business of Curtin University, Malaysia. He holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree from the Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman and a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Wales, Cardiff, UK. He has published in and is a reviewer panel member for the top-tier journals. Dr. Samuel, over to you to share with us your session about achieving success through self-transformation, embracing the bright side of the failures. Let's welcome Dr. Samuel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leong. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you very much. And my gratitude to the faculty management team for this opportunity. All protocols duly observed. I'm going to try to share my slides. Give me a second, please. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Dr. Samuel, I can see your screen.
Okay. So thank you very much, and I'll be sharing on how you achieve success through self-transformation, and also embrace the bright side of failures. And like Dr. Leong rightly highlighted, my name is Dr. Samuel Okbebu, and I'm affiliated with Curtin University. I'm a lecturer of management in Curtin University, Malaysia. The outline we'll be looking at today is a success-oriented mindset and preparing to fail. Interesting. It might sound really, you probably raise your eyebrow reading that, but we'll get more understanding on what it entails as we proceed. Learning from failures, which I find very interesting. In just a few years, I've learned a lot from my failures. Launch into the deep, and how you proceed eventually after learning from your failures. So first of all, you've got to have a success-oriented mindset. It's a very important thing. You see, Prof. George once said, those who do not understand or appreciate their failures of the past are doomed to repeat their failures. Those who do not appreciate history are doomed to repeat it. Whilst developing or getting a success-oriented mindset, there's certain things you might want to consider or you might want to bear in mind. Now you've got to consider knowing yourself. There's a quest to know yourself. You don't want to turn or end up wishing you had gone the other route if you had the time, or if you knew better after 5 years of taking a major decision in your life. You start from somewhere today, especially now, you know, several of you are postgraduate students, even though I'm much honored to be having this sharing session with several faculty members. When you start a journey, you would want to think you're making the right decision at first, and at the end of the day, when that works out for you, then yeah, that was the right decision. But how did you get to that point? You must have had an idea or some sort of knowledge about yourself, what you're capable of doing. This is not something a lot of people are very familiar with. And you'll be so shocked to realize that there's several potentials you've got in you that you never thought you had in you, unless or except that you were pushed somewhat or motivated or inspired to bring out such degree of, say, creativity that you never knew you had, or genius that has been hibernating within you that you could have explored and exploited while you had a chance. Now, you don't want to be someone, or you don't want to be in a position where you start regretting the rest of your life, thinking, I wish I knew. It's okay to fail. Now, what do you learn from it? And how do you get up from there? And how do you turn that failure into mind-blowing success? A lot of us might have heard the story of how electricity came to be, and how many times the leading pioneer of electricity failed before arriving at the final stop, where he figured out how to generate electricity. Have you ever done a personal SWOT analysis? Have you ever thought about it? Doing a personal SWOT analysis. Now, some of us might know what SWOT analysis is. Basically, it captures your strengths. This is meant for organizations and strategic management concerns. However, I try to integrate this. I did a paper on this some years ago, a few years ago, actually, with Dr. Abdul Rahman, thanks to his guidance as well, and also Dr. Tan Dari. Okay, we try to capture the SWOT analysis of students, university students. I didn't add this paper in this presentation, though. You can check it on Google. We look at the SWOT analysis of university students and how they can better map their career choices. So basically, it tries to explore the strengths, or your strengths in this case, your weaknesses, your opportunities, if there are any, and possible threats. So a detailed analysis of this can help you factor your path and restructure as you go on in life. Now, why have you truly embarked on this postgraduate journey? This is precisely for PhD or or postgraduate students. You've got to be able to have your clear answer as to why, and why you really want to embark in this journey. It's interesting to know that several PhD or postgraduate candidates actually just want to have a degree and head off to some other thing in life. I've asked this question to one or two people in the past. Why do you want to have a PhD? And they tell me, well, because other people are having a PhD, because it will set me up better in the society, or just for the title, basically, isn't it? Well, that may not really help you get far, or even far enough. It's good to have a PhD or to have a master's degree. But the question is, why do you really want to have it? What do you want to do with it? So you revert back to the SWOT analysis I talked about, and that way you should or could be able to realign your aspirations and be able to dig up a reason as to why. Now, you bear in mind that you would definitely encounter failures, okay? And some people might encounter more failures in most cases than success, and basically get few success. And some people don't even they barely even get a success. Like some of us would know, in publishing papers in top tier ranking journals, some of us could agree to that. It's a really hustle. Nevertheless, when you move on to realizing why you're embarking on your journey, whatever it is, even though you're a faculty member, when you try to find out why exactly you're embarking on your journey, it will help you stand the test of time. Let's take a quick look at this video. I really hope you can hear me, Dr. Leong, when I play the video. If you can hear what the video is saying, please let me know. And if you cannot, please let me know. Are you with me, Dr. Leong?
At the age of 5, his father died. At the age of 16, he quit school. At age 17, he had already lost 4 jobs. At age 18, he got married. Between ages 18 and 22, he was a railroad conductor and failed. He joined the Army and washed out there. He applied for law school. He was rejected. He became an insurance salesman and failed again. At age 19, he became a father. At age 20, his wife left him and took their baby daughter. He became a cook and dishwasher in a small cafe. He failed in an attempt to kidnap his own daughter, and eventually he convinced his wife to return home. At age 65, he retired. On the first day of retirement, he received a check from the government for $105. He felt that government was saying that he couldn't provide for himself. He decided to commit suicide. It wasn't worth living anymore. He had failed so much. He sat under a tree writing his will, but instead he wrote what he would have accomplished with his life. He realized there was much more that he hadn't done. There was one thing he could do better than anyone he knew, and that was how to cook. So he borrowed $87 against his check and bought and fried up some chicken using his recipe and went door to door to sell them to his neighbors in Kentucky. Remember, at age 65, he was ready to commit suicide. But at age 88, Colonel Sanders, founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, the KFC empire, was a billionaire. Moral of the story? Attitude. It's never too late to start all over. Most importantly, it's all about your attitude. Never give up, no matter how hard it gets. You have what it takes to be successful. Go for it and make a difference. No guts, no glory. It's never too old to dream. If you find value in this video, please like and share it so we can create more like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I trust you had, the video was audible enough. Dr. Leong, were you able to hear the sound quality? Was it fine?
Yes, very good.
All right, thank you very much. So yes, did you find your inspiration somewhere, along the video whilst watching it? Did you find your motivation yet? A question that you've got to ponder on, chew upon as you walk along the way, go do exercises, wherever you find yourself, whatever you're doing right now, think about it. Did you find an inspiration somewhere? I'll leave that for you to ponder on. Yes, this is a very, very sensitive part, I suppose, preparing to fail. Like, why would I or anyone prepare to fail? It's crazy, I suppose, right? It's sort of absurd. Why would you want to teach someone how to fail? Or why would you want to prepare someone to fail? Well, guess what? That's life. That's life. It comes with the whole package. It comes with both failure and successes. And actually, you realize as you go on in life, that you go through several failures to actualize you and manifest your success. To do this, you got to learn how to come out of your comfort zone. Okay, you got to learn how to really leave that comfort zone of yours and test the waters. Try out so many different things. Explore, jump in, dive in and explore. Based on your SWOT analysis you've done on yourself, start exploring, test the waters, move up the ranks, try as much as you can. You definitely slide down back again and back, over and over again as you go on in life, but that is what it is, okay? No one expects a little baby boy or girl to automatically become Usain Bolt and start running like crazy. That's not something that one would expect. It's a gradual process. You start failing a bit, and the more you learn, the lesser you fail. So you test the waters and move on, okay? And then note that in this life, you win, you probably would win less and lose more. In fact, as you journey on, as you can see in the picture, you're almost there. However, you just realize that, wow, okay, I just cracked this milestone. Yeah, I should go celebrate, isn't it? But whilst you just on the verge of celebrating, you realize that, wow, there's still more to uncover. There's still more to get. There's still so much more to actualize. There's more I never thought I knew I need to get. You realize, oh my goodness. Personally, I've learned something about this part. I've realized that the more I know, the more I realize how little I knew. And that is one way that life has chosen to help us develop mentally, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. So you win less as you proceed in life, and you be prepared to lose more. So you got to have a mindset that prepares you for this. Why? So that you do not reach a point in your life where you break down and just give up and throw in the towel and say, I'm done. I'm done with this. I cannot move on. Well, I can't deal with this anymore. Why? Because you did not start first with the right steps. So this is another picture of a boy who had a dream in 2019 and took him 10 years afterwards to actualize that dream. How, you see, there are several components, but for time's sake, I'm going through all the components. I'll focus on just these two key words or phrases: time management and discipline. As you go on in your PhD journey, you've got to learn how to manage your time in two ways. Manage your time effectively and efficiently. I had some master's degree students yesterday do the assessment, the second assessment presentations, and all three groups of them failed badly in this part. And they were supposed to be delivering a training to a group of management team. Then I asked them at the end of the day, do you think that this group of managers would want to come back for another training session because you've wasted your time and you didn't even achieve what you were supposed to achieve in terms of the overall highlights? There were no strong recommendations given. Basically, you didn't manage your time efficiently. Even though you might have done that effectively, but you didn't consider how efficiently you could manage your time. And discipline is another thing. You've got options to choose on what choices you make or what path you follow. You've got to be disciplined and exercise and demonstrate discipline in everything you do. And always ensure there is a bit of option B to allow for some flexibility so you don't completely get ruined whilst on the path to greatness. Another thing to bear in mind here, people, would be what happens eventually when you just can't help but fail. Now, this right here are failure results. condolences on your failed experiment. Oh, I'm a PhD student. I'm a postgraduate student. I'm even a faculty member. But I felt so much the more that I don't know. In fact, I've become a master of failing. And then you start getting condolences on your failed experiment. Oh, sorry for that failed experiment. Oh, we heard about this project closure. We're very sorry. My condolences. Oh, sorry to hear about the rejected paper. As some of you or some of us would be very familiar, with getting rejections from journals, especially for those of us targeting high impact journals. You get a point, you get a lot of rejections, and it's very, very difficult at some point to get through. You get a lot of sorries, don't take it to heart. A lot of sympathetic advices. Or with depressed sympathy on your disproved theory. That's really sad. Now, how do you deal with all these failures? I'll share my own story here because of time. I have lots of them, but I'll share just this one for now. Some of my colleagues and my friends, of basically people that know me in terms of my research and what I do, they reckon I'm a methodology expert, precisely in quantitative research. Even though I also know I'm also good with qualitative research, but my major strength is in quantitative research. This was never my major strength, and this is where I've got to thank Dr. Abdul Rahman. Okay, who just shared with us some minutes ago. I remember when I just a few months into my PhD, just about the time we were heading into literature review, I went to him in the office that day and I asked him, we were discussing about my work, and I told him, Dr. Abdul Rahman, I come from a qualitative background, and I don't know, and I actually not only don't wish to know, but I dislike quantitative research. I hate it. And I don't want anything to do with quantitative research methods. And then he looked at me and said, well, Samuel, times are changing. The future is vague and very, very uncertain. This is an opportunity for you to learn something you never knew and could give you an edge in the future. So you pick up, you've got qualitative research methods, expertise already. How about you just explore quantitative this time around in your PhD? And then he has a way of motivating someone intrinsically and extrinsically. So he helped to nudge me intrinsically and then motivated me extrinsically by telling me something I really needed to hear. He told me, well, Samuel, you realize you would need to start working after you get a PhD, right? I said, yes. Then he asked, well, if you pick up a quantitative knowledge, and add it to your toolbox, I'm paraphrasing now, then you could be able to have a chance at working or getting a good job or competing at least in the global market. Well, that definitely sold. I'm not sure how much it got sold for, but it definitely sold. And I picked it up, hook, line, and sinker, and I jumped on it and I started a quantitative research journey. Now, in the process of this, I realized that there were so many hurdles I needed to deal with. Honestly, coming from a no quantitative background, it's like you're giving birth to a whole new baby, and the baby is completely dumb, having nothing in his or her head, or brain in this case. So I've got nothing, or I had nothing back then, and basically this was my story. What picture you're seeing on your screen was my story. Condolences on your field experiment. That was what I was getting. Sorry to hear about your rejected paper. Of course, that was absolutely certain. Oh, with deepest sympathy on your disproved theory. I didn't have a theory back then. Okay, but the point is, there was no way out. Then this is where I have to talk about someone else who highlighted me. That's Dr. Gengesh, Dr. Gengeshwari. And I went to reach out to her and sought for advice as well in terms of how to deal with quantitative issues. And she pointed me to someone who has become one of my greatest collaborators in research today. I'm going somewhere with this story, so please stay with me. Dr. Gengesh pointed me to Professor James Gaskin in the United States of America, who is a renowned research statistics expert. For some of us who are into quantity, the name should be familiar. And I never knew anybody like that existed. When she said, hey, check out James Gaskin on YouTube. He's got a YouTube page, James Gaskin. I thought, okay, I'll do that. Then I went back home and then I checked out his YouTube page. I saw lots of videos, fantastic, life-changing videos of James Gaskin on YouTube page. And then I Googled him a bit and saw what he was about. And I started picking up from there, learned from his YouTube videos a lot. And then the more I learned, the more I realized how little I knew. That is the tricky thing about it. Because you get to meet so many hurdles, so many hiccups, so many blocks along the way. And at this point, I got stuck at a particular point. Okay, and of course, thanks to Dr. Adahak and Dr. Darren Tan, they will help me to support me psychologically. Okay, otherwise I probably would have thrown in the towel at myself and said I give up and then walked away. But Dr. Adahak and Dr. Darren Tan really helped a lot. And at this point, they with their pastoral support, I was able to move on. And then I reached out to Professor James Gaskin. I emailed him and sort of related my query to him and hoped he would respond. Now, you've got to watch out. Most of these professors or these guys probably won't respond to your emails, probably delete it the moment they see it. Now, you've got to be careful how you write, okay? I'm not going to be talking about that, but it's just something I need to point out. Your writing skill is very important, especially to these guys. It could turn them off immediately, when the first sentence they read is full of grammatical errors. What's the point of even thinking about helping this person out when we come along? Embrace them, all right? Embrace them, because they are actually opportunities in disguise. So what would you learn from failures? There are certain keys, certain things, certain factors to consider in your response to failures. Yes, as you can see on your screen, you submit a revised paper, you submit your paper to your supervisor or to a journal, and then you're very confident and you tell your supervisor or or the journal editor or the reviewers and say, hey, don't worry, I'm not making the mistakes. Again, I've cleared it all out, I've sorted all the issues, and then you're very confident, and then the supervisor or the editor of the journal is getting more frustrated with your work, or the reviewers are getting more frustrated with your work. And then, because from their side of the chair, of the table, you're making new mistakes. In fact, you're making matters worse. So how do you move on from this? You realize, first of all, that the journey is not yet over. There is still room for more failures. So you don't think you've arrived somewhere and failure stops. No. There's still room for more failures. You got to self-encourage, all right? Encourage yourself. And I enjoy this word or this phrase, self-efficacy, all right, by Bandura. Self-efficacy, you need to get that, like believe in yourself. Know that you're capable of doing something and you can do it and actually move yourself to do it. This is where time management and discipline would come very handy. Revisit and revise your personal SWOT analysis. It's important for you to progress along the line of success and just be able to better distinguish between success and failure and stay more on the line of success. Often revisit and revise your personal SWOT analysis. Find your true network. Oh, this is very, very important. This is key. Find your true network. You see, whilst you grow and whilst you move on, even while studying as a PhD candidate or even faculty members, understand people. You see, be diversified. You know, it has helped me a long way. Today, I can happily say I'm collaborating with top-tier pioneers in my field from across the world and from across different races and different religions. I'm not focusing only on just a group of people from within my clan or within my circle. No, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous because you would not be able to adapt to changing times in the future. And then identify your pioneers. Who are the leading guys? Who are the experts in your field? Identify them, reach out to them somehow, try and network with them. For postgraduate students, this is a key advantage for you as well. You can reach out to them with your beautiful ideas. Make sure your ideas have been scrutinized and re-scrutinized and re-evaluated by someone else who is an expert, precisely, or probably a supervisor or supervisors, before you reach out to these guys. It's important to catch them at the first hit. So you prepare yourself well enough to be able to get their attention the very first time. That would help to really keep them with you. Know your pioneers, okay? Know who they are. For example, my background is human resource management, and I can talk about one or two or more pioneers in my field, like Professor Jabor, Professor Vijay Pereira, some of which are my co-authors precisely in some of my top-tier publications. And they've helped me to train my mind to aim for the best, go for it, and get it. Several of my publications, actually the peak of my publications, are from Q1 journals. And this is not Q1 Scopus based, this is Q1 Web of Science Clarivate. So, which is a really tough outlet to get to, or tough area to navigate across. But it starts from some of these aspects we're sharing. So identify your pioneers, know them, and connect, try to connect. Even if you're unable to connect with them, in fact, let me share just briefly something I experienced as well. At the beginning, it was difficult to connect with these guys, almost impossible, but guess what? It motivated me all the more to do more in order for me to be able to connect with them. So I need to work on myself, get myself to be better. This is where you need to identify their strengths in order to help you align your strengths with their strengths. But of course, you've got to know that your strengths and their strengths may not always align with each other. You've got to find somewhere, somehow, where some parts of you relate with theirs, and then restructure your path. Finally, increase your value and boost your net worth. This is one of the absolute things you should bear in mind and take home with. Increase your value. Always increase your value. The more you increase your value, the higher your chances of boosting your net worth, okay? Your net worth. By increasing your value, you become better, you grow bigger, and your net worth increases. What you're worth in the market starts to expand, starts to increase, okay? This is just a side one. Not so long ago, about a few months ago actually now, I got approached by someone, a very high profile person via Facebook, and asking me if I would like to work in their university, in their department. And I thought, well, there is a job advertisement already for that position. I didn't apply, but I was contacted. Now, this is not because the person is my friend. No, it's because the person made me to know that he knows what I'm capable of doing. He knows what I'm capable of. So it got me to rethink certain things. So if this person didn't see that self-worth, that value in me, he would definitely not reach out to me, to come work for them or with them. So yeah, I'll stop there, but this is something very important. In all you're doing, ensure it is adding value to you. Every time you spend, every minute, every second, ensure it's adding value to you. Finally, when you're done boosting yourself and getting that much value, you think you've gotten that much value, it's time to launch into the deep. It's time to launch. You can see the picture. It's like the whole world in front of you. Navigate and storm, okay? Storm through, okay? You're gonna face some storms, of course, definitely, but it's left for you to navigate with the values you have successfully equipped yourself with, okay? How do you do this? Well, you can start by attending conferences, international conferences, and industry-grounded workshops, seminars where possible. Now, this is particularly important even for those of you who do not intend to walk the path of an academic, okay? If you want to go into the industry, work for organizations, corporations, you can start networking from now, okay? Not just educational conferences, there's even workshops and seminars where industry experts congregate and attend, where you can join in and build your network. And also write as much research papers as you can and improve your writing and research skills. I learned this, I would say, the hard way. Why? Because, and thanks to Dr. Abdul Rahman and my supervisors basically for this, because they allowed me an opportunity to explore within the scope of my PhD topic, of course, to write papers. They encouraged me to do that. And I realized that the more I wrote papers, even though some were not meeting up to standards, the more I got better. Why? Because I would read some articles, see how they wrote, whatever it is they published, study their writing skills, understand their writing language, and employ the same in my paper. Okay, so that really helped to improve my writing and research skills as well. And then invest in growing your network to boost your net worth. Now, some people, this is very difficult to do. Actually, you've got to take a lot of your time. You need to grow, not just create the network, but growing your network is like maintaining it, sustaining it. This is like a very difficult thing to do, honestly, when you go on in life, because you got to check in on these giants, to say it, on whose shoulders you've stood. Okay, that is why I continue even presently, even though I'm not within the scope of, I'm no more directly within the research scope of my supervisors, okay, like Dr. Abdul Rahman or Dr. Dari. I still try to network with them and work with them on research and publish with them as well. You see, because you don't forget the shoulders of the giants on which you stood. All right, loyalty is important. At some point, you might need them again, and then you might never get them. So it's important to cultivate a real long-lasting friendship rather than just a self-centered service you're giving to them. Cultivate real, true friendship, and not just because of what you want from them. It's not going to last the long term. But when you cultivate a true, honest, sincere, lasting friendship, this is where trust comes into play, like Dr. Abdul Rahman highlighted on. Trust comes into play here. You're able to develop that trust between your support team, which is your network, okay, and yourself. And then you grow that network by reaching out to them, making sure they're faring well. It's not just about research that will make you reach out to them. Try and find out how they're doing. Connect with them, like really connect with them, even emotionally. Reach out to them. Go out with them if you have to, when you have to. Plan outings with them. Hey, let's go here. Let's have Let's have some fun at least. Let your friendship or your connection not be based only on research. It's not going to last. It's going to be a very fake kind of connection and friendship. But if you want something to last, go beyond just research. Connect with their minds and connect with their hearts. Not only with their minds, but also connect with their hearts. And no matter what happens, when you explore and think about what the new year brings, have this at the back of your mind that it definitely is coming with 365 days of opportunities that you need to catch on and explore and then exploit. No matter what you do in life, as you go on in life, keep learning. Never stop learning. Continue to learn. Embrace it. The more you know, remember, the more you realize how little you knew. You might think you know so much now, but trust me when I say, by the time you find out from other people who happen to know more than you know, then you realize how little you've known so far. That has given me one push and solid drive to continue to learn and keep learning. So you're welcome to connect with me via Facebook. I manage a research, a group on Facebook, Research on Creativity and Innovation. You can punch it on your mobile phone or your device, and I'll happily accept you. It's over 1,000 people. It's a community of editors of top-tier journals, associate editors of top-tier journals, top high-profile researchers, and industry experts in that group on Facebook. So feel free to join in. And also, you can reach out to me via my affiliation, Curtin University, and via my LinkedIn page. Thank you very much for your attention. I am happy to take questions now if you have any. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Leon.
Thank you so much to Dr. Samuel for your inspiring sharing with us.